Hi everyone, welcome to the Icehouse weekly podcast where we chat with Icehouse alumni and team about their business journeys, their challenges, their wins, what they've got out of being involved in the Icehouse community and more. Today we have Rachel Williams with us, founder and managing director of Viva Expeditions and alumni of the Owner Manager Programme 47. So welcome Rachel, good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Awesome. Looking forward to having a great conversation. And how I like to start these conversations is by asking this question. Who is Rachel? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm a mum. I've got a 8-year-old little boy and a 4-year-old little girl. So yeah, little ones.
Cool.
So a businesswoman. So I own a travel company which specialises in travel to Latin America and Antarctica. And we also have a range of unique luxury products in New Zealand. I've also got a hotel in Peru. Myself and my partner own a scrap metal recycling business. And I'm a traveller, so I've travelled to about 70 different countries throughout the world, mostly developing nations. I've yet to make it to USA and some of those Canada, some of those I guess normal places, preferring to spend my time in Africa, South America, the Middle East, places that are a little bit off the beaten track.
Wow, I had no idea about all of the above. That's amazing. That's a really great introduction and obviously very aligned to your love for travel and the travel company that you have. So that's very, very exciting. What are a couple of words to describe who you are, Rachel?
I think in 2 words it would be adventure and opportunity.
Awesome. 2 great words. I like that. And yeah, definitely aligns with your introduction. So I think many people won't question that. What does your career journey look like? And I'd love to hear how it then transitioned from a business or to a business.
Right. Well, being part of the travel industry was never really my plan. I studied sports science and physiology at university and I was going to be a physiotherapist.
Oh, wow.
For my OE after university, like many do, and got the travel bug completely. So my two-year OE turned into an 8-year OE. I was doing a tour in Africa when I met my partner Brendan. He was my driver. That's smart. I know. But we ended up working together, me as a guide and him as a driver, and we operated safari-style tours throughout Africa. Both East and West Africa for about 3 years, and then in South America for a couple of years. And it was during that time in South America that we noticed the opportunity. At that time, there were a lot of budget backpacker style trips, the safari style like we were running. And then there was boring old coach trips for the non-backpackers. So we wanted to offer adventurous and exciting travel options for the 30 to 70-year-old age group.
Cool.
Viva was born. So it was quite a funny beginning, planning on running these upmarket overland style tours was our original plan. So we bought a truck online from Belgium, shipped it to Ecuador, flew over there and spent 6 months living in the spare parts room at a coach builders while we built the truck. Which was exciting, but it was 2009 and right in the midst of a financial crisis. So we built the truck and had no passengers for a wee while. And it was really 2010 when we ran our first trips. We ran those ourselves and then came back home in 2011 to really start focusing on growing the business. In 2015, we partnered with an Australian company, which gave us a lot of tools to expand and to negotiate really good supplier contracts based on volume. It allowed us to form a really great collaboration, share ideas and grow stronger based on our shared values and experiences, which was a really, a little bit like a game of snakes and ladders, I've always thought, where it was the ladder that sort of progressed us quickly to the next level, which was really, really great.
Great.
Everything was trucking along really nicely, business went great. We moved from just the group expedition style trips into adventure expedition cruising as well as tailor-made style tours. We were growing about 30% year on year. And then of course, COVID came in, which really changed everything for us.
Yeah.
We had to pull down everything we'd built. There were redundancies, extreme cost cutting measures were put in place and, everything actually fell apart really, really quickly. It was a really hard time, but from disruption comes opportunity. And we're now, looking forward to moving forward as a really lean and efficient organisation. We've had to really look outside the square to be creative and to generate, and we've had to find really creative ways to market with no marketing budget. And these lessons forward as we rebuild remains will be a better and stronger organisation, which is really exciting. And then during COVID, we launched our New Zealand travel business, focusing on unique luxury experiences. Our biggest success there has been Southern Lights by Flight, which is a 10-hour from Christchurch on Air New Zealand Dreamliner to see the incredible Aurora Australis from inside the Auroral Oval. So that's been really interesting, particularly over the last few years. But we're really excited now to, as the world starts to open up, to, like I said, to rebuild a better and stronger business based on all our learnings.
That's amazing. I'm so inspired by how optimistic business owners are, and what you've just said there is a real example of that, that there's opportunity in everything. And really excited for you guys as we talked prior to recording this, the world opening up and what that looks like for you and the future of the business is really exciting. So looking forward to watching that unfold for sure. I'd love to know, what is one thing you wish you knew when you began this business? COVID?
Well, yeah. No, because we never would have started, right?
That's true.
How hard it actually is, because I laugh when I look at my original business plans and my growth predictions. They were extremely optimistic. I guess I was quite naive, but saying that again, if I had known, maybe maybe we never would have started. Ignorance is bliss, and I guess the journey is part of is the adventure.
It is, yeah, that's so true, so true. Biggest challenge and your learnings from it.
I guess, from the COVID perspective, I sort of mentioned that above, the challenges to have to deal with, everything, the business that you've put your heart into growing, falling apart. But I actually think outside of that, it was learning how to market a product worldwide in a very competitive market as a small startup. And I've learned a lot, but importantly, the value of really good relationships and partnerships, getting people to sell your products for you instead of trying to reach the world directly.
Yeah, brilliant. Great answers. Highlight moment. What's been a moment that you've gone, this is awesome, pat on the back, bring out the champagne? Any of those?
Yeah, well, there was two. One when we won the Best Niche Wholesaler at the TANS, which is the Travel Agency Association of New Zealand Agency Awards.
Brilliant.
We're up against a lot of really big companies that were larger and more established than us. So to be voted by the trade, so by the travel agents, as the leading supplier was a real honour. And the second was getting our first Southern Lights flights up in the air in March last year. The uncertainty and all of the things we had to deal with leading into them when they were actually in the air, and we had 550 people fly, and we generated a really nice chunk of revenue, and it was life-saving. It was the best feeling ever.
Yeah, so exciting. That's awesome. You're up in the air, it's actually happening. Awesome. A common myth. What's that?
I said it wasn't until we were actually in the air that it was a reality. It was great.
Totally. I can imagine a massive weight would have come off in that moment, that's for sure. I'd love to hear a common myth about your industry that you want to debunk.
I think it's been quite clear, come quite clear during COVID, that the service side of the industry is misunderstood. I think people tend to undervalue the agent and the huge amount of time that goes into itinerary planning and preparation. When you look at other companies that will charge you for their service and for their time, and ours is usually wrapped up in a tour package. And when it's all fallen apart, I think people have really quickly forgotten about the work that's been put in by the agents as they try to reclaim everything back. The thing is that it's more expensive to travel via an agency, and it may seem so at the time when you look online, because there's always going to be cheaper products, but it's very easy to sell cheap product, and the quality and support is certainly lacking. I mean, I know we've got the hotel in Peru, and if people book on our special deals on booking.com, they don't get the great rooms. Clients that are booked through the agencies, they're going to get bumped up. that when something goes wrong is going to have that support, that backup there. And we saw that during COVID, being able to get all of our clients home and then having to organise repatriation flights for the governments to get all the people that didn't have someone looking after them home. So it's
Wow.
really
So important, and actually never been more important, to be honest, in terms of the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes.
And protecting clients' funds, you know, we've been able to protect all of our clients' funds to make sure that they get their trips or they get their refunds. And I know a lot of people that don't have those, you know, the power of those agencies working behind them have lost out.
Totally. I hadn't thought about that, actually. It's interesting. I'd love to sort of turn to your season on the Owner Manager Programme, and how you are part of the Icehouse community, and ask this question: how did you hear about the Icehouse and the Owner Manager Programme?
I'm actually not entirely sure, but I think from memory it was recommended to me by somebody that had already been through the program, because I was looking for that learning. You know, I'd looked at MBAs, but you know, I couldn't take that time away, and someone sort of steered me, you know, suggested this program, which was really practical learning.
That's cool. Yeah. It's nice. All recommendations is massive in our world, that's for sure. Did you have any internal thoughts that you had to conquer before coming on the program? You know, things like imposter syndrome, or lots of people say it feels like their first day back at school. Any of those thoughts running through your mind?
Well, not really, because I loved school. I liked the learning, and I knew I needed to develop myself to be able to take the business further. So I was actually really excited about that learning. You know, I was a bit of a school geek, so it had all my notebooks ready. I was ready to go.
That's cool. Were things color coded?
Yeah, I had highlighters, you know, stuff happening all over the place.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'd love to hear, how have you implemented any changes into your business, but also your lifestyle since the program, and anything along those lines?
So many. I mean, you know, we could talk all day, but I found an incredible amount of value in the program, and loved how it dealt with the three circles. You know, you, your business, and you and your business.
Yeah.
I love the you stuff, you know, the resilience piece, and how important it is to take care of yourself in order to be effective in your business. And also understanding my own personality and my strengths and my weaknesses really helped how I went on to work with my staff and to work with others. I mean, there's so many more. All of the learnings were really, really valuable, but I think, developing how I interact with business and with the world was really, really valuable.
That's cool. Similar vein. Any key takeaways that really stuck with you that you've thought back on?
Wait, why am I talking? Which was from one of the sessions, because, you know, that's me, you know, trying to always get my word in, and I'll still write it down when I go into meetings sometimes, or when I'm talking with people. Wait, you know, don't, you know, and that's been really, really valuable.
I need that, I think. Wait, why am I talking?
I can talk over people like the best of them, so yeah, that mind.
Yeah, that's so brilliant. I love that. Sort of going off notes here, but did any of your team notice any differences in you when you came back from the program?
They really did, because I think that there was a lot of, I remember with the psychometric testing, and at one stage they got your staff to sort of, you know, rank you in terms of leadership, and that was a really really, really valuable piece, because you learned to understand, you know, what those different personalities needed and thought. I mean, I was really, because I actually did much better than I thought, which I guess gave me that extra confidence. And yeah, I think for the team, I guess having that structure, being able to share a clear vision and values to really bring them in to the business, that they, you know, that they really felt an ownership of their place in the business, instead of it all being what's sort of in my head and what's going on. So really bringing the culture of the organisation together. Yeah,
empowering your team, right, to step into what you've asked them to do. Very, very cool. Awesome. At the Icehouse, we have a thing that we say, and that's grit goes further together. I'd love to know what grit goes further together means to you.
I guess it's a problem shared is a problem halved. So being able to share and collaborate at a deep level with other business owners, the people that get it and that really understand. I think for a lot of us, I mean, I'm speaking certainly for myself, you're surrounded by your family, my friends, most of my friends aren't in business, and your staff, right? And to actually be able to share those things going in your mind with other business owners who can understand and relate and have those business conversations with you, that's extremely valuable, especially those with a similar growth mindset, which is what you get coming onto these programs, right? So yeah, the quality of interaction with other business owners is really important.
For sure. Lots of people say one of their favourite things is the people that they meet and connect with and bounce ideas off and then have part of their network, after the program.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, our OMP 47 was a great cohort, and we have an annual reunion when we all catch up together, and then throughout the year, a lot of smaller get-togethers, and we have a WhatsApp group. We stay in touch. If someone's got a problem, they'll throw it out there, and so we continue really to build on that Icehouse experience and share things together.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love hearing that. A very cool cohort that you've got there, that's for sure. A special one. Awesome. I want to finish on some fun questions just to close out the conversation. So, Rachel, what are you reading or listening to right now?
I have a few books on the go for relaxation. I'm making my way through the Outlander series, which is really long and sort of never ending, but it's a good turn your mind off book. And I'm also reading a book called Mind Over Mood, which is based on CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, because I'm quite interested in the psychology and how the mind works. I do most of my reading on audiobooks, which is great because I never have time, with kids and family, I don't have time to be sitting and reading. So the audiobooks in the car while I'm out on my walks, all of that is, it's been life-changing. It's amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love audiobooks as well. When are you most relaxed?
When I'm meditating or when I'm traveling.
Cool. Yeah, great. Favorite way to kickstart a holiday?
Well, a glass of champagne at the Coru Lounge is always a good way, to start.
Great answer.
But I also think that disconnecting from the technology, turning off the phones, really engaging with your experience with the people you're with without the distraction. Our life is so full of the constant bombardment of that distraction, and being able to just walk away from it is a beautiful space to be in.
Oh, I love that thought. I do the same whenever I go on holiday. The first week, first couple of days, whatever, it's just hide my phone from me. I do not want to see it, and it's just such a good way to detox the mind. So I love that answer. It's really important.
I've just come back from a retreat on the last couple of days, and it was completely off the grid. And God, I left there just after 2 nights feeling so just clear-minded, relaxed. Really chaotic here, and I was a little bit overwhelmed, and just a couple of days cut off from it. I've come back to work. Today's my first day back, and I just I feel really ready to go. It's great.
That's so cool to hear. Love that. An app or a tool that you couldn't live without?
Well, Audible, I love it. I couldn't do without my Audible anymore, and I've come to meditation in the last couple of years, dealing with the the stress of the pandemic on business, and I use an app called Calm, and again I wouldn't, and I love it, and it's so easy to use, so short and easy to slip into a day, and it really makes a difference in mindset, and just how calm and how you approach situations, I think, which is great.
I love that. Really practical. We'll finish with this one. An interesting fact about yourself.
It's always hard to find interesting facts about myself, even though I've probably gone through a few. But I guess this is I found really interesting in that I struggled in the first few months when COVID hit, and I felt like a failure, even though the circumstances were out of my control. How much of my own self-worth I placed in what I did in my business instead of who I am, and that's been a really interesting avenue to explore, and it actually interests me in the future, and it's a space that I'll be quite interested in exploring potentially at a professional level in the future. I think this runs true for many business owners, that, you know, they're so invested and their heart and everything is in that business that when it goes wrong, they as a person go wrong with it, right? And I just think that's a really, really interesting space that a lot of business owners, you know, could learn and develop in that space a bit further too.
What a great answer to that question, and a good way to finish up the podcast. But yeah, we're so much more than just what we do. It's more who we are. And yeah, lots to explore in that area. So I love that thought, Rachel. Thank you. And thank you for sharing your story and the highs, the lows. And we're championing you. We want to see you succeed. And so does the whole community at the Icehouse. So looking forward to following the journey.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bryar. It's been a pleasure.